So we have the crew from Bleacher Report's Stick to Football podcast joining me in studio. It's Matt Miller, Mello, and Connor Rogers. They're in Madison this weekend for Tailgate Tour. Of course, for 13th ranked Wisconsin hosting number 11 Michigan. Stick to Football is their podcast. If you haven't listened, you're missing out. It's the best college to pro football scouting podcast out there. And of course, in Saturday's game, there'll be plenty of guys that can play on any given Sunday. No name bigger than Jonathan Taylor. And Matt, when you look at JT's game, I mean, his speed, his size, his IQ, really the complete back. What do you see when you watch tape on JT?
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things, like you said, George. He's a complete back, and it's been encouraging this year. We've seen him more involved in the passing game. I think also you can look back to his freshman season with the fumbles. I know those were a concern. Sophomore year cuts down on those, and hopefully we see that again this year. It's been a limited number of carries headed into the Michigan game, but he is special. 4.4 speed with his size. There's just not many guys like that. It's a good running back class, something we talk about a lot. Yeah. Travis Etienne's out there at Clemson, DeAndre Swift at Georgia, but JT's got over 4,000 yards in 2 years, which I think speaks to just how talented he is as an overall back.
Yeah, JT heading into the Michigan game, yet to record a carry in the fourth quarter. And Mello, I mean, all you guys have been on him since last year, but Mello, you're high on him for his Heisman chances. Yeah. You put him as one of your 5 Heisman finalists right now. You've said on the podcast, it kind of has become a quarterback award. What do you think his chances are of legitimately having a shot at the Heisman?
It's a really big quarterback-heavy award, but I think if a running back's going to do it, it's probably going to be the one from Wisconsin. I love Jonathan Taylor. I love what he can do. He's going to have the production. I think after Saturday, they're going to have a big win, and that's going to really help his Heisman chance. So I'm pulling for him. That's my guy. If a running back wins it, I want it to be Jonathan Taylor.
And Connor, I mean, when you look at the matchup of the game, 2 great defenses. We've seen Michigan's offense really struggle, though. What are you looking at? I mean, kind of the keys for Wisconsin heading into Saturday?
I mean, it goes back to JT. Of course, he's the best player on the football field. And look at Michigan, right? A couple first-rounders last year. Chase Winovich fell way too far in the draft. They reload that talent every year, and they have returning starters. So this is what scouts like to call a little bit of a showcase game for JT. And if he goes off, which I actually think he will, I think Wisconsin has the offensive line to give him some room against a good defense. That's where this game is going to be won and lost, in the trenches. I know Cohn has had a really nice season so far for Wisconsin. Shea Patterson has been up and down throughout his tenure at Michigan. I don't think this is a game where throwing the football is going to decide how it's won. It's really going to come down to the run game.
And Matt, what do you think? You know, 3 guys not named Jonathan Taylor people should be watching for, who you guys will be watching for in tomorrow's game.
I know Connor just said we're probably not going to see the ball thrown, but that's really where the most talented prospects in this game are. I mean, we're still trying to figure out who Shea Patterson is as a pro prospect after he looked so good to start last year, really just fell apart against Ohio State and has been very inconsistent so far this year. But his receiving core, especially the 3 guys who are upperclassmen at this point, we haven't seen Donovan Peoples-Jones a lot this year. Tariq Black, Nico Collins, those are very talented receivers who, if they had a quarterback who could competently get them the ball, we might be talking about as top 50 draft prospects. So I think they are the guys. I mean, Wisconsin's offensive line is always solid, even with losing David Edwards to the draft last year. So that's always a unit that you're going to watch. You know, you talk about offensive line, it's all about, you know, Alabama, Wisconsin, Iowa are the units you're going to watch. So I think Michigan's skill players are where you're going to focus, and then that Wisconsin offensive line.
You guys wouldn't think when you're looking at this game after last year that Jack Cohn would be the better quarterback than Shea Patterson.
I don't know. I think that we probably would have.
That's true.
We're not the biggest supporters of Shea Patterson, and I like Jack Cohn. I'm glad that he's finally getting his chance at Wisconsin. I think he's going to be a really great quarterback. Hopefully he comes back for another year, and I think that he'll be one of those top Wisconsin quarterbacks.
Yeah, a little East Coast bias over here. I mean, Jack Cohn from New York. Right. It's exciting to see a New York player and go and shine for Wisconsin, so hopefully he keeps it going tomorrow.
What's great is I asked Jack and JT myself, I'm like, what brought you guys out here? I'm like, Rutgers didn't? And then I say that. I'm like, it makes sense.
You answered your own question.
And they both love it in Madison. What has been your guys' first impressions of the city? You came, so week 1 was Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. Week 2 was New York, and we were in Las Vegas for week 0, basically. So we've been on the road all 3 weeks. I'd never been to Madison. I don't think either of you guys have been either. I'm blown away. Like, I'm trying to figure out, you know, if we can get the podcast moved up here. It's just the lakes and the trees and the clean air, and there's some talent on campus too, on and off the field. So I'm very impressed with Madison so far.
It's truly a great city. I agree with you. I mean, so both of us coming from Joplin, when I pulled up here, I was like, this is like Paris. Like, this is, it was like an unreal city. Now, I got to ask you guys too, go one by one, but who's your pick for tomorrow?
Oh, I'm taking Wisconsin. We broke this down on the podcast. We're going to do it tomorrow at our tailgate spot, but I think Wisconsin just controls this game by running the ball. We've seen JT. He's only had 35 carries so far this year. I think he could have that many touches tomorrow alone coming off a bye. So I think Wisconsin wins. I don't know about the spread. I don't know if I want to put any money on this game, but I think Wisconsin does win the ball game at least.
What is Wisconsin's favorite? 3.5, and the over-under is 44.5.
Yeah.
I think life's too short to take the under, but I seriously might take the under in this one.
I'm rooting for the over because that'll be an exciting game, but I think I would bet on the under. I'm taking Wisconsin too. I love the Badgers and what they're doing. I think they'll control the clock, like Matt said, run the ball, and then probably run the ball again on third down if they need to. And I think they have the defense. They can stop Michigan, and they can definitely stop Shea Patterson.
Yeah, when we did the preview, all three of us took Wisconsin. That's just not because we knew the trip. We were going out here for the game. This is actually a game where Jim Harbaugh usually wins, but I think Wisconsin is not only the more talented team this year, more importantly in the trenches, they're at home. The crowd's going to be into it. That line, like Matt said, 3.5, I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than that, but I think Wisconsin gets the most important thing. That's the win.
That's right, and it'd be interesting with Wisconsin averaging 5 yards a rush, Michigan defense only allowing around 3 yards per rush, and that's even after playing Army. But you guys are here for, of course, stopping in the studio to analyze the game, but can't not let you guys go without talking about your podcast, Stick to Football. I mean, it started 2.5 years ago. It's grown so far. You're on your tailgate tour. Where will you be Friday night, and where should your fans find you Saturday morning,
So
too?
Friday night, we're actually doing an exclusive dinner with some of our diehard listeners have flown in from all over the country to come to Madison for this tailgate. So we're really excited for that. So we'll be out in the Hillsdale area. But Saturday morning, you can come hang out with us all day. We'll be at Jordan's Big Ten, which everyone from Madison knows it's historic, especially that beer garden. So we're going to be there. We'll be doing the podcast about 8 a.m., and then we'll be there until they kick us out, basically. So it's going to be a good time.
Hey, it's a tailgate tour. You got to get up early. And I'll tell you guys, you say you're going to Great Dane?
Yeah.
Try the cheese curds. They're good.
We're in Wisconsin. What are you going to do?
Cheese curds, spotted cow.
We've already had spotted cow today, so we're good.
What do you think about it?
I like it. I'm an ale guy, though, so that's good.
All right.
He got a Bud Light. Don't talk to him.
I know you guys are natural like guys.
The Moon Man, though, from New Glarus is even better than the Spotted Cow.
All right.
Hot take.
Yeah. Our listeners are good to us. They actually ship us beer that we can't get.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a power.
Don't rat them out on the air.
Yeah, no, I won't say names.
Well, that's awesome. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to catch them tomorrow morning. Jordan's Big Ten, 8 a.m. early wake up, but it's game day, so you got to be up that early anyway. Wisconsin at ranked 13th, hosting number 11 Michigan. I'm George Blacksheep for Matt Miller, Mello, and Connor Rogers. These guys have Stick to Football podcast on Bleacher Report. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for tuning in, guys.